Okay, so this is just so moving to another topic. Sorry. So this was just a normal meetup, nothing official. So guys, if you have any questions, you can just shoot those questions, and we have our both the experts, Raghu and Pradyumna. So feel free to ask questions, and if you want to share any progress that you made so far throughout your job search process, you can also share that. I think Ambuj is ready with this question. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. So actually, I'm just like I'm not that much experienced as all of you are. Just I have started my IT career in cybersecurity.
Mhm. Okay.
So I'm just looking to grab some better opportunities as I'm right now in Mumbai and I'm working with one of the company here. So I'm looking to move abroad. I was searching on the YouTube and I got your video on the Germany. Like it is a very good place, and I researched a lot about Germany. So I thought like if I will get some kind of opportunities to work there, so it will be very good for all, good for me also. Also, like in cybersecurity, it is a completely new sector in India, and I don't know about the Germany. What is the scope there? But whenever I search on the LinkedIn about the particular job in Germany in the field of cybersecurity, so I get some jobs, but they are asking for a lot of experiences as well as like I want to know just like how they are basically hiring in any of the sectors, irrespective of cybersecurity or any of the sectors. So what they basically look into the candidate. So I just have 1.2 year of experience in cybersecurity. So this is all about my career. I have done my bachelor's in computer science.
Okay. So Raghu or Pradyumna, would you like to answer?
It's best you answer, and then we will add if we want to, because you've been speaking with recruiters and you've been here a little more than what we have been. So it's ideal for you to maybe give some your thoughts, and then maybe I
Yeah.
will add. Arjuna will
Hmm.
say at this point.
So I think 1.2 years, I think it's not that of a problem if you can showcase your skill set. Because when I joined as a Python developer, I just had 1 year of experience as a Python developer. But of course, I had more experience as a test engineer. But that was not a relevant experience. It was the total experience. But I think if you can add value to the company, and you can showcase that you can add value, then I think it's not a problem for them. For that, as I said yesterday, while applying for jobs, you have to do some research on those companies and also the job role that you are applying for. And once you do the research, I mean, it's also good to have a cover letter and a kind of document. So this is my approach. So when I used to apply, I always created a document wherein I specify how I can add value to the company if I join that company. So I also pointed out the drawbacks at the moment. For example, how the services might not be proving, good for the customer. So for my current company, I went through their website and I saw what all services they provide and what all products they have. And I made a list of those things in a document, and I wrote down what are the pros and the cons of each of those service and the product. And then along with my application, I also sent that document, and they reviewed it. And the first feedback which I received was, we really liked the document that you sent because it was something different from all other applicants. So those kind of things, if you do, I think you really come in front of those recruiters, and then it's just a matter of proving yourself in front of them throughout the interview process. So
Okay.
that's one point from my side. So maybe Raghu, you can add something to it.
Yeah, I mean, from the experience that I had, it's I don't think experience doesn't matters that much. Even if you have little experience or more experience, it won't matter. Um, my recommendation to you is, Ambuj, is um, because of course I'm not an expert in your technology, neither I know more about cybersecurity how they are. But in general, what I would suggest is check on the LinkedIn and job portals and see, are there opportunities? Try and connect with people with similar domain. Let's say there is someone in cybersecurity working in Germany. Send them a LinkedIn request. Ask them uh, how it is, how the recruiting is going on, because you'll get a first-hand feedback of how things are going on, especially related to your domain. Once you have that, you will have some ground knowledge of how it is going. Okay, maybe based on the information I gathered from 10 people, I think it makes sense. Then you should really focus on preparing your resume and how you can differentiate your resume from others. That will start right from your designing of your resume, keeping it concise, and maybe what Anup said was really valuable. Like, look at their website and try and find something that you can attach to your resume and that would make sense to a recruiter. And then the key is apply for as many jobs as you can once you are there at that point, because it's really about you increasing the probability of getting a call from a recruiter. So just to summarize, maybe what you can do is try and connect with people on LinkedIn and see if they can give you some feedback and thoughts on how cybersecurity things are going on. Once you have solid idea, prepare your resume and float it in the job portals.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, no problem. But I'm sure if you're determined, you'll be here. You just have to be very determined and very focused.
Yeah.
There is always a way.
Just keep trying. Don't think that you have lesser experience than it's not possible for
Yeah,
you.
I agree. Because I've known people, I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube where people with only 1 year experience have come. Yeah.
So, Pradyumna, do you want to add something?
Yeah, sure, definitely, Anup.
Mhm.
So, Ambuj, coming to your experience, it's 1.5 is not so much, but you'll definitely have opportunities here in Germany. So, coming to your technology and cyber security, I'm not sure how many openings do we have in, let's say, if you consider 10 companies, and how many companies offer you that role which you're working on. So probably you can start working on your resume and start building your cover letter as well. And one more thing, try upskilling yourself. I mean, whatever you're doing it, be a master on it. So let's say if a task is given to you, how you can portray yourself. I mean, let's say if you're on 8 hours work, how do you how much you will spend on a work to complete the task. So behavioral aspect is also considered in the interviews here in Germany. And the second thing is upskilling yourself. That plays a major role here as well. So though you have 1.5 or 2 years experience, doesn't matter. And if you're skilled enough, they'll definitely take you in.
Yeah, good point.
Let's say if you're working on 3 skills or 3 technologies in cyber security, be a master in at least 2 of it. I mean, with the 2 years experience, you could at least work as a 5-year experience or 4 years experience candidate. If you have that knowledge, that would be an added advantage to your career at this point of time.
Yeah.
So I mean, one opportunity. I mean, one added point. What I did was, let's say when I was looking for jobs in Germany, there were almost 15 to 16 technologies was expected in my profile, but I had 7 or 8. So what I did was, before a week's interview, I just Googled what the technologies, and I just prepared some basic questions and covered some YouTube interviews and learned some basic knowledge on it. What information I just started learning on it. I have some basic theoretical experience on it, but not practical because I was not given an opportunity to work on it. So in that way, you can showcase you are more feasible to learn new technologies, but you're not given a chance to work on it. That will be an added point in your resume as well when you showcase during the interview.
And
Okay,
also
so
to
I have one question.
yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Please go ahead. I was just
Yeah,
adding
so
something.
suppose that I told them like I worked on this particular technology, and they started to ask me in the deeper way. Like I just learned from googling, and googling is like they will give you just lighter knowledge. It is not very deep knowledge in the Google. When we will definitely work on that technology, then only we will get the deeper understanding of that technology. So if we tell to the recruiter like I know this particular technology, and they started to ask the deeper way the question, like the question which are I don't know, then how to take that particular situation?
So in that case, you don't have to mention in your resume. Let's say if you have not worked on X and Y technologies, and you don't have to put in a resume. Just prepare yourself because the requirement is in such way. Okay, you just prepare a week before a week's time, just to understand the basic idea of what the technology does or what backlog does it has. I mean, let's say if it has some positives or negatives, understand the differences between your technology and what's the upcoming technologies, and just tell them that I have a basic understanding on it, and that would help at times. Not every time, but sometimes, most probably, you will get a chance on it.
Also, to add to it, I can share my experience. So when I applied for this job where I'm currently working in, I applied for the Django developer role. So if you're not aware, Django is a framework used
Yes,
within
web
Python.
framework.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had experience in Python, but I had no experience as a Django developer. So even then, they recruited me because they knew that they can train me. So you have to show your learning capabilities as well. So you have to kind of show maybe in your LinkedIn profile or in your resume that you are open to learn new technologies. So if they understand that point, then it's not a problem for you. You can always learn new technologies even after getting hired into the company.
Yeah, I agree with that because I also have a similar experience that you have, Anup.
Hmm.
During my interview, they asked, "Hey, do you know this, that, 1, 2, 3, 4?" I said, "I only know 1 and 2, but
Yeah.
3 and 4 I can learn. I know how to do it. I know how to learn it because they're one or the other way. They're all similar. I'm in SAP domain, so for me, there is similarity between learning new things.
Yeah.
It was all about how I could sell myself and tell them that I am able to learn this and show them how you can be there, like give them a short plan. Of course, it's never ideal to put something on resume that you don't know at all, that you haven't worked at all.
Yeah.
It's even better that you know just one topic and you say, I only know this topic, but I'm very good at it. The other topics, I just have some basic idea, and it's okay to say that you don't know something if during the interview. That's what I have realized, that if you don't know something, it's very nice to say that you haven't worked on it and you don't know, but you can learn it, or this is how you can solve it.
Yeah. So I think Sheikh has some question. So Sheikh Mira, do you want to ask something here?
Yeah, I just want to clarify something. Yeah, good evening to all, and I'm a bit late. And yeah, today I think even Raghav is present. My question was, Raghu is present. Okay, my question was to you, Anup. I think recently you posted your way of handling the job search,
Mm-hmm.
how you did it. And in that you mentioned that what you can do to the company while applying.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I was interested, like whether did you mention it in the part of the cover letter, in which part of the resume it was mentioned?
So this was actually a separate conversation with the recruiter itself. So the recruiter who posted the job, I sent him a personalized message saying that I have applied to your job, and a little bit of to initiate the conversation, I sent him a short message, and along with that message, I also attached this document telling him that I did a small research on your company, looking at your website and all the services that you have. And here is the document wherein I have added some key insights from my side. So maybe if you have some time, maybe you can have a look at it. So that's how I approached it.
Okay, because I was just wondering, like on our cover letter itself, as a part of cover letter, we could mention like what I can do to the job or what I can do to the company.
Yes,
Like
then you
if
won't
I
be able
select
to elaborate a lot, I think, because cover letters are
Yeah.
usually small.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
you could
and
try
in,
that.
in a way, I think that's a smart way of getting a recruiter's attention. It will differentiate you from the rest of your applicants.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not important that we talk about the quality of the document. I mean, that's a separate discussion altogether.
Yeah.
But for someone to do that little bit of 1 hour or half an hour of research about the company and then put something together and send it to the recruiter shows that the applicant is really genuinely interested and wants to make a difference in one or the other.
Yeah.
It kind of shows that the thought process of the aspirant.
Yeah. So Raghu, as you said in your interview, the aim was to get into an interview, right?
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
get one interview and then crack it. So
Yeah.
that was the aim when you try to apply to a job. That should be the aim, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So I also had discussions with Raghu. Recently, most of the thing what I'm facing is I'm being rejected because I'm not in Europe. That's becoming a common answer to me. From before, like I was not even noticed. Now I'm somehow being noticed. Maybe not. I could say out of 20 jobs I apply, maybe 2 jobs or 1 job, which was not possible earlier also. But now I'm facing that same answer. I don't know. Only the luck matters when whether I get they will not tell this question like you are not, are you in Europe? Is there anything else that we can see specifically on a job description while applying? Because most of the people they don't mention like we want to be in Europe or not. Only some of the people mention, and after screening our resume, only they will reply with this answer.
Yeah, it's usually like that. So I don't know if so at least in LinkedIn, you do not have any option to kind of filter the jobs while you search and see if it is only for European residents or for anywhere for anyone outside Europe as well. But I think in Stack Overflow, you have that option because I have seen in the jobs saying this relocation or paid relocation and all that stuff. So I think if job says paid relocation and visa sponsorship, then it does mean that they are looking for people outside of Europe. So maybe you can try the platform called Stack Overflow if you have used it before.
I only used for finding the solutions.
Yeah, of
Maybe
course,
finding the
there's
job
a
also. I will
jobs
try.
tab as well, which you can try. And I think that should
Okay.
really help.
Okay, thank you.
Just give it a try and see how the responses are.
Okay, yeah, I will do that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also think, just to add to what Anup said, I also think it's a matter of what the companies are really looking for. Are they really okay to get someone from a non-EU country and sponsor everything, or are they not? I mean, in my opinion, it's better that they say it initially than for you to go through the entire process and tell you at the end that, oh, no, we are thinking about it. I know it can be little disheartening because I had also gone through the same thing. I mean, though they didn't say that we were looking for EU candidates only, but they kind of rejected it, and I kind of implied for some of the jobs that way. So it can be little tricky, but I think I will link it back to the point what Anup said earlier, that try and differentiate yourself from the other applicants, because sometimes they will be so willing to get someone who wants to make a difference rather than getting someone who just wants to work 8 hours a day, or not about the time, or who just wants to do the regular job rather than adding value to the company.
So last year, no, in 2019, I started looking for a job in Germany, and I also I appeared for a couple of interviews. One of my interview was good, and I thought like I'll get an offer, and then this pandemic started. So then they said visa process has stopped now, and we need a candidate who can join immediately. So that was not I was not able, because of that I couldn't get the offer.
Mhm.
And then like my company, I have a three months notice period. So
Okay.
that was again the hurdle for me, because most of the companies, they were not ready to wait for such longer time. So last year, what I did, I put down my paper and I started looking for a job. Then like I appear for a couple of interviews in December, and one of interview was in January, but I couldn't get through it. Luckily, I have a job in India, which I'm going to join from tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah, my notice period, that like this 2nd of March was my last working day in my current organization, and now from tomorrow I'm going to join a new organization. But still, like I want to find a job in Germany, and that's why like I am. Since I was searching for a job seeker visa option as well, like
Mhm.
information on that part, but I came to know that job seeker visa is like, oh, I cannot apply for job seeker visa because embassy is not accepting applications for job seeker visa. So like any idea when this job seeker visa is going to reopen again? And the other question is like, means I already have an experience of getting rejected. So like, means I have a 10 plus years of experience in software testing, and mainly I am in automation testing. So the interviews which I have given, so those were for functional testing plus automation testing. So like, means I'm little bit, since I was in dilemma whether I should go for a functional testing plus automation testing, because in my current role I'm only in automation testing and haven't done functional testing since long time. So my role was not exactly matching with the expectations of the employer, and maybe because of that my answers were not what they were expecting. Uh, so like this question might be for the Pradyumna, because I
Yes, I
already
was
have.
about to say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
right person.
Yeah. So like
Uh,
first question, anyone can answer, like any idea about when job seeker visa is again, like
No,
we are going to, no idea about
at
that.
least I have no
No.
idea, and it's usually, I think you can contact VFS Global if you are aware of that. So
Yeah,
it,
I already have checked it, and they are not accepting any applications right now.
Mhm.
So like they haven't mentioned any date as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it more or less ties back to what the situation currently right now in Germany is, because we
Yeah.
are still in the middle of a lockdown.
Oh, okay.
And businesses have not opened. Only the essential shops are open. And in some regions, there is still plan to gradually open, but there are two parties that, one says don't open, one says open. So the country is still amidst of that. So mm, personally, I don't think they will open for at least until everyone gets vaccinated and there is that enough immunity among people. Maybe, I mean, if you ask me roughly, I would just say August or September towards the end of the year.
Okay.
Uh, that's the first question. Maybe Pradyumna will answer the
Yeah.
first one.
So, Pradyumna, just excuse me, I'm just holding you because I have a similar question on the first one. So, my recent interview was done for the remote working, for the for work from home. So, if I get any, if I clear any interview and they offer me remote working until this lockdown or pandemic gets over, so should I go for such option? Is it safe to go for it? Why I'm asking is because like in India, everybody is much more concerned about the job, and if there is no job tomorrow, then like for a person who is having 10 plus years experience, it's very difficult to manage installments and all those things. Why this question is coming in my mind? Because in India, even though if we join a new employer, then there is a probation period. So is there any concept of probation period in Germany? And oh, it's there. Okay. And so like maybe in initial days, they might be judging a employee on his behavior, as Pradyumna said, how your approach is, and if it doesn't fit in, or if they think this candidate is not good enough, so what is the process like? uh, uh, Probation period and this remote working. So how, means I'm not sure how they manage it, remote working, because in that case, how they pay? They pay in German account or in Indian account?
So to answer your question, I mean, there's a lot of questions coming up here. So I would say, so I mean, that depends on company to companies. Let's say if you accept the work contract, because understand the work contract, is it for an indefinite time or they're just providing you for a 6 months or 9 months role? Understand it. Let's say if they offer you a 6 months contract, I believe, I mean, it's not good to accept that with a minimum contracts of 6 months or 9 months, because at the end of 6 months they might take you in, or I mean, they might extend the work contract, or they might terminate the contract and ask you to look for another job. So I mean, just consider the work contract which is more than 2 or 3 years, so that you'll have some enough time to understand the work culture and also explore some opportunities, connect some employees, and then expand your network, so that let's say at the end of 2 or 3 years, you'll still be able to get some other job in Germany. And you're saying that, you had, I mean, if they offer you the remote work, right? I mean, is the Germany company offering you remote work?
Yeah. It was a German company and Munich area, Munich.
Okay. So as per my knowledge, they generally, once you work for a German employee, you're expected to pay taxes to the German government. But I'm not sure how they will handle that scenario by your company. So that has to be, I mean, that question has to be taken by your company's HR. But most probably, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I would have asked them, but I couldn't clear the interview because the
Okay.
first round was the screening round, then the second one was the coding round. I am again facing this challenge because my whole experience is in Java plus Selenium, then the rest Assure. Then like I was on backend testing. I was involved in backend testing as well. But most of the companies, they are looking for JavaScript based frameworks, or the Cypress or the WebDriver IO. So such kind of frameworks they are looking for. And then like that means I have learned it now, but I am not that master. Like I am good at Java, but most of the companies, they are looking for the JavaScript based frameworks. So the means I I'm not making any excuses, but I was not fitting in their criteria, so they didn't go ahead with my profile. And that's why like I couldn't ask, like they didn't offer me a job, so I couldn't ask them like how they are going to pay me. So but like out of curiosity, I was like, if I search for a job, or even though like if I apply for a job where they are providing remote work from home or the remote location job, so in that case, like how they are going to manage these monetary benefits.
Okay, and so see, considering the skill, mine was also based on Selenium Java. I had good experience on Selenium and Java, but I also worked on some partly on API testing, also on mobile application testing. So because I was interviewed only on Java with Selenium, also some basics of mobile testing. So all you need to, let's say if you're good at Java, just portray them that you're good at Java, and I mean I mean, what I can say is, you don't have to master whatever you didn't know. Okay, let's say it's okay to say that you don't have work experience in JavaScript. There are still opportunities for Java and Selenium here as well. And also some, let's say, because since you said you have also experience on REST Assured, that would be a great added advantage here, because I see openings in REST Assured as well. But keep updated with your technologies. Let's say if you should be very good at Java 8 as well, because that's most commonly used here in the developing the framework, or whether it's a REST Assured or the Selenium UI testing as well.
Okay.
In terms of payment, maybe I have some thoughts. How would you get paid if you were to have a remote work, hypothetically? I mean, I don't know many people in Germany, but I know some US companies that are doing this for my ex-colleagues in India. So there you have to register as a professional in India, and you will be a different under a different tax system in India. So you may not be paying a lot of taxes here in Germany, but remember, you will end up paying in one of these countries. It really
Right,
depends on
correct.
the kind of arrangement that the HR will make with you. Because I know some US companies that are employing people in India for remote work, and they get very good package compared to people of the same experience in different companies, almost twice, because they convert that US dollars into INR and then they pay them, but they are not, they are registered as professionals. So their Form 16 and filing and everything will be under professional category, not as an employee category. For them, the taxation is a little different, and they don't fall and they don't have to pay the provident fund contribution in India. On the other hand, if that is for a longer term, like if that's your permanent way of working, that you work from India forever, but a German company is paying, there's also the possibility that I think one of the guys in the group, in our group only, I think he worked, no, it was some other guy, I think, who I know, he got a job offer in Germany, and then first month he worked from India. And then as while his visa was getting processed, once he got visa approved, he moved on to Germany. So, I mean, in one or the other way, they will find a way to pay you. But it's just about how they will do it, and I think they will take care of it. I don't see any risk there because German contracts are to the point.
Yes.
And to the probation topic, as far as I know, I think legally there is a 6-month probation period for every work contract. And maybe correct me, Anup and Pradyumna, if I, from your experience, from anything beyond 6 months, it's very difficult to take that employee off. Very difficult.
They
Like
have to give a
workers
solid
union.
reason for taking you out of the job.
Yeah, you have workers union and everything. In majority of the German companies, if your company is registered as a German company, there are workers unions that will protect you from doing a lot. Of course, I
So
think because you're
one
aspiring
thing,
to,
Raghu, sorry to interrupt you.
go ahead.
So this meeting will end in 2 minutes. So
Okay.
because of the time limit of the free version, we have to rejoin in that case. So just telling
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah, there are workers union protecting you. But I mean, beyond all this, I think if you have you decided to come to Germany, I recommend that you start learning the language, because it will make your life very, very, very easier here. Otherwise, you will always start missing your home country and thinking, oh, should I have thought something else? Because I'm going through the dilemma right now where I am really want to learn more German. It's only been 4 months for me, 3 months. I want to get more, but because of pandemic and everything, I can't go out, and it's really difficult staying at home. So yeah, think about that also. Whether are you really prepared coming to a non-English country? But once you come here, I think you will have very good work-life balance. That is going to be there. I'm sure Anup and Praju will agree how much of good work-life balance you'll have. Because I'm seeing my ex-colleagues who are still working in the night, and after 6, I don't work anymore.
Exactly.
I was going to ask that question, and I was like, thanks, Raghu, you already covered it, because I was curious to know how your work-life balance in Germany. Like since I know like Anup, Raghu, and Pradyumna, so I know 3 of you, and Anup, I have followed your YouTube videos. Most recently, like Pradyumna's video, I really liked it because it was in testing field, and you have portrayed his struggle very nicely, like how he first applied for job seeker visa, and then like how he searched for the jobs. So I'm like, I have decided that so like big thanks to you guys, because I was really searching for information on job seeker visa and how work-life balance in Germany and other questions, and luckily I met you guys. You are doing fantastic job. I also have gone through your blogs and like LinkedIn pages and all those things. So Like it's very nice.
It's
Yes,
been just 3 months, so I'm just starting up. So maybe after 1 year or so, we'll have a lot of content, and it will be
yeah,
really helpful
yeah.
for people then.
But
Yeah.
this, like whatever you are doing, it's fantastic.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks
Yeah,
to the
and
experts, because without them, I can't add those contents.
yeah. Hopefully, like see, maybe after this pandemic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
I'm
like,
sure because you seem to have a bit of opportunities here because you had attended couple of interviews.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there seems to be a lot of hope. I'm sure you'll be sitting here and maybe in a few calls later you will also be answering some questions hopefully.
Yeah, apart from Pradyumna, I also have one more friend of mine who used to study with me, and I think I also have his interview on YouTube. So if you look for Sahil Dheer, he was also my
Uh-huh.
classmate, and he was also a test engineer and came here on job seeker visa, and he's also now here, I think, since last 3 years, working in Germany as a test engineer, automation engineer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So one more question. Like I usually search for a job on on a Stack Overflow, and I see like the visa sponsored jobs only. I see like there are other countries also offering a relocation and the work visa. So means I have done some research and I think like Germany is the best option. But if I get any other opportunity apart from Germany, like the Belgium one or the Poland one, like in Poland also Warsaw and one more city where there are plenty of IT companies. So like any thoughts on that? I'm sorry, I'm taking this, means this call is for Germany calling, but I'm diverting topic little bit. Just your thoughts because you are already there. So
Who wants to
Poland,
go
I
first?
know Poland, I know someone who shared his experience that they don't pay um, as much as what they would pay in Germany. I also had an offer from Poland 3 years ago, where the payment was really bad. I mean, I was not even getting what I would get in India. So I kind of said no. And again, this is only just on two experiences. So which is my personal experience and another friend of mine. So I can't generalize this. So I'm just giving you two inputs. So please don't generalize. This is my thought. Just
no,
about
like and you are absolutely correct because I also have seen the package which they are offering, which I convert into Indian rupees, and if I see how much I'll save in Poland, so that is more or less than what I'm saving in India. So yeah, but the like means I'm not behind money. The like work-life balance and the community where you are working, so that matters. So
And
like
also, I think the standard of living in Germany is quite better as compared to other countries. And also, the healthcare system is really good here. Healthcare system and child benefits and unemployment benefits, a lot of benefits you get once you are in Germany,
okay,
other than the salary aspect. Yeah.
So just to add up what Anup said, once you pass your probation of 6 months, your life will be, it's very great. Standard of life will be very great when compared to other countries. Let's say USA, Canada, or beat any country, but the standard of living for a normal person, it will be very great actually. I personally experienced it because when I was working in India, if I had to go to hospital for some basic thing, I had to pay 5,000 or 6,000 or 10,000 sometimes. Here, I don't have to pay anything.
oh,
Just if I have some insurance covered, that's all.
okay.
Because
Yeah, and
the
also
healthcare system is
you
good here.
don't go that often to hospitals here in Germany because they don't entertain you. They just say you are fine, just go back. Yeah.
Okay.
For small fevers and all, you don't get medicine here. So you just have to cure yourself. Yeah, I also got two offers when I was searching for a job, one from Netherlands and one from Spain, and I also rejected those two as compared to Germany's offer. So not just because of the salary aspect, but also because of the standard of living and all other things.
Okay.
Yeah. So the
So
Netherlands
Goa-
one was HCL. So I applied that from
Oh.
India, and
I-
HCL guys, they wanted me to go there.
I had a call from SCL, Netherlands only.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, then like I didn't appear the interview. Yeah, that time I was not thinking to move out of India. I was so much happy here. But now like I think I should get like explore the world and work in the multicultural environment where like people are from the other countries with the different culture.
Yeah.
So maybe like a small stint of my career I'm looking to spend in Germany, but I want to come there. Like I'm just waiting for this pandemic to get over,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to apply for the job seeker visa. So one question. So for job seeker visa, there is a lump sum amount which you have to pay for your document verification. So if I have an offer, like offer from the employer, so in that case, do we have to pay that money to VFS or the embassy for document verification?
Pradyumna, maybe you can answer. I don't have any
For
information.
job seeker, I mean, you're talking two different things here. So job seeker visa, you cannot apply job seeker visa when you have an offer from a German employee. You have to apply for a work visa, that is a national visa.
Okay.
Which Raghu might have seen the same, because he has an offer from a German company while he was working in India. And for me, the other case you're talking is I came here on job seeker visa and I have applied for job here.
Okay. So for like, means what from my search, what I came to know is that for job seeker visa, you need to validate your documents. And for that, like, is it true? Like for Mumbai VFS, they charge around 46,000 for documents validation.
I applied from Chennai consulate and I never came across this. All I need to was, I mean, all I just paid was the visa fee. That was around 6,600 INR. That's it. And everything went, and I just have to showcase the bank balance, because that stay of my, until let's say if I'm staying for 6 months, because JSB for 6 months, I have to showcase them around 6 lakhs of INR in my bank account. That's the only thing which I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm unaware of the Mumbai process actually, how they deal with it.
By and large, it should remain the same. I think, are you talking about the verification of educational documents, or what type of documents are you referring?
Right. I think for educational documents, there is a different process. Like your university should be listed in.
Yeah.
So yeah, apart from that, like other your work experience documents and all those things.
No, I don't think that is even for employment visa also it is not required. So if a verification is so required, from my experience, from the information I've gathered from Facebook groups and all, I'm telling you this, verification is initiated by the embassy. So if embassy believes that there is a reason to verify your documents, only then you would have to pay for it. But once it is initiated, you cannot say go back. Like you have to pay the fee. So for example, when this usually happens is, someone got married just recently and his wife is planning to come to Germany, and they have applied for a dependent visa. So there is marriage period is only like 1 or 2 months. Then it's a possible case that verification may be initiated, and that's when the applicant has to pay himself or herself. I mean, this is the only verification I've heard of. And again, because job seeker visa is not open anymore, I don't think this is a recent guideline. But as far as I know, I think Pradyumna will also agree that there is for job seeker visa, there is no verification fee that you have to pay.
Yeah, at least from the Chennai consulate, I'm sure that they will not charge you anything other than the visa fee. And I mean, to get more clarity on your question, you can contact VFS and ask them if there is a amount needs to be paid for your document verification. Until unless it is not initiated by the embassy.
Okay. I'll check with them. I'll call them tomorrow. I'll check with them. Yeah.
Hopefully by end of this year, I mean, probably from let's say if we're March low, So at least in the next 6 to 9 months, I'm expecting to open the job seeker visa, probably the news which I'm following or hearing from others.
Okay.
Think
Yeah, that's all I have for you, Govardhan. So, but no, for
Swapnil
you,
posted a question.
Sorry.
Swapnil has posted a question.
I was going to say Swapnil posted a question.
Okay. Yeah, I just read it. So
yeah, just
Swapnil,
before we answer, I mean, I just have one point to go over,
Yeah.
because I mean, considering your experience, it's 10 years of experience. It's a very good experience, and you'll definitely have opportunities here and as an automation engineer, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of openings, especially in Java and Selenium space. All you need to, just learn some basics of JavaScript and tell them that, you are good at JavaScript, but you don't have a working knowledge on it. Or else try building an application. I mean, try building a framework on your own whenever you get some free time on a JavaScript or else UI framework and API framework. Just to learn some, you'll also get upskill yourself in that time.
Yeah.
Just push it to the GitHub and show them, this is my own project I did on myself, and you can share the GitHub link to them. And that's an added point to your resume as well.
So like before you take Swapnil's question, I'll take 1 more minute. I really appreciate you guys taking this call and really want to thank you all, because the way you said, like you will get a job, and Raghu was also positive when he was saying, okay, you will definitely come here. These little things, they are boosting my confidence. And like, just like in last week, I was thinking, okay, I'll focus on my new employer, which I'm going to join from tomorrow. And then I was going to skip everything. Like for some time, I was not going to think about Germany. Then yeah, I don't know, but you guys are boosting my confidence, and I was going to give up on Germany. But then like I pinged Pradyumna, and he said, okay, this week I am busy, but next week we can definitely have a call. But he asked me to join the meeting, join the group, and means I'm happy to have this call and getting to know you guys. So big thumbs up for you. And I'll allow you to take other questions now.
yeah, we
Yeah.
just have 6 more minutes, and thank you for the kind words. It really matters, and I think these are the things which helps us to stay motivated and help you guys again. Yeah.
Agree.
Thank you.
So Swapnil, I think we can take your question now. So he says, I'm about to join my first job in India as a software engineer. Okay, congratulations for that. Any advice for me if I want to find a job in Germany after a year or 2 years experience? Okay, so Pradyumna, would you like to say
Definitely,
something?
Swapnil, you will definitely have opportunities here after a year or two. Definitely. I mean, you can, because I have seen some, let's say, few of my friends, they have come up on a student visa. They work for around 6 months in India, and they have come up as a student. But they're somehow not satisfied with their education, or not sure how they want to earn by looking at others. So they started applying for the jobs during their MS first year or first semester. And one of them got an opportunity with a very good package. So they quit their studies and started their job here.
Yeah, and just to add, maybe I think you just said you started your career, right, Swapnil?
I'm not sure if
Swapnil, are you-
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. So my personal suggestion is spend 1 year in your job, and then I'm sure you will have some idea of where you want to be. I mean, you never know that after 1 year you might find what you're looking for in your job. But to directly answer your question, if you're really interested to come to Germany, try and differentiate yourself from the rest of the applicants. I will tie it again back to what Anup said earlier at the beginning of our call, is how well you research about the company, how well you kind of create exposure in these forums like GitHub and Stack Overflow, where you become a contributor rather than getting information or data from those sites. So how you can add value. So just right from first day of your career, remember that, think that how am I going to make a change, upskill yourself, and I'm sure once you decide to come here to Germany, we'll still help you in any way we can through this group.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
Welcome. Maybe we can take up one more question. So do you guys have?
Hello, yeah, hello everyone. So if you have time, can I put up my question?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
So thank you for conducting this meeting. Most of my questions have been answered from Raghu and Pradyumna. So I have same questions around about of Swapnil. But yeah, I'm currently in my 4th year and I'm currently working since the course curriculum. I have worked on Java plus Selenium as Pradyumna on automation testing of an e-commerce website known as SoulStore. So basically worked on that project. Then my main focus is on DevOps part. So I've tried to work on building pipelines, learning about DevOps, and then coming to the programming language, I'm focusing on Java. So what I would not rather say that how should I come to Germany or how to apply for jobs, because I think it's early, as most of the people say. So, but still I'm trying. I'm applying for the internships and the entry level jobs. So, what other than this you would suggest me to cover as to differentiate myself, which will be beneficial for me to put up in my resume?
So to answer your question, Keshav, so it's very good to know that since you're in the 4th year of your bachelor's. Good to know that you already know you're good at Java and Selenium, and also you started learning the DevOps technologies. You're good at building the pipelines, and right. So that's very good to hear. Being a 4th year candidate, you're good at these technologies. So all you need is to upskill yourself and do some sample projects on your own. And definitely it's an added advantage being a test automation engineer or automation engineer. You have some DevOps skill as well. So that would be a very great added advantage to your profile. And I definitely see a lot of openings for DevOps as well, especially on AWS and Kubernetes, Dockers. I see a lot of openings here.
Yes,
Okay.
just to add to that, at least in my company, we are using GitLab and GitHub, and I know you can create pipelines there. So just create one account on these platforms and maybe start a new project, and also create the pipelines there and test your stuffs there. So I think it's more important to gain hands-on experience rather than learning stuffs in the college. So maybe you can start a side project and also include that in your resume whenever you start applying for jobs in Germany.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for your response. And one thing more. So suppose the DevOps market is not that much in India currently. Means only the tech giant or the people who are experienced are taking upon, because DevOps is not as an easy, because it is not a tool we can just implement tool and we are using DevOps. It is rather a culture. So rather than means using a fresher to in the DevOps team. So suppose I land up a job in a backend or a software developer at some company, and then should I also place my DevOps skills or test automation skills in my resume, because anyone will ask that how did you apply that to the organization? So will it create any impact to my resume or will it not?
Yes, so I think if you can demonstrate your skills, if you are adding something to your resume, then you should be 100% sure that you can demonstrate that skill in the interview. If you're not that much sure, then just don't add it. That is my suggestion. But Pradyumna, you can maybe say something about it.
Let's say if on your resume you write some Java, Selenium, and DevOps skills like Docker, Kubernetes, and definitely you will not land as a backend engineer or a front end engineer developing some UI. Probably once you have something on resume, and if you are able to showcase them, they'll definitely put you in a right place in whichever company you work in India. Let's say if you don't have any skills, just a bachelor's graduate within CSC or IT, they might put you where their requirement is definitely. But if you definitely have some skills, let's say if you have some implementation or a personal project on the GitHub, just showcase them that you have done this, and they'll definitely put you in the right place which you wanted to.
Thanks for your inputs, and once again, thank you for conducting. Means you are taking out time after so many experience you have. So taking out time and then guiding us all to how to develop our upskill ourselves and develop such skills. So once again, thanks to all.
Thank you for joining the call today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So guys, I think that's all for today. And if you have further questions, just feel free to ask it in the Discord group, or maybe save it for the next meetup we have in April. Okay, then thank you, Raghu, Pradyumna, especially to you two, and also the participants who joined today.
Yep.
Thank
Then
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a
you
great
guys
weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye.